are the art and math expectations for your stained glass triangle project. So when we get to the art part, sorry, but whenever I think of art and part, hello, what comes next, boys and girls? Fart, I said it. Okay, art elements to focus on this project. You want to fill up the space. If you notice in these two examples of stained glass, you see that the space is filled either with a color or with these really thick black lines. Now, normal stained glass is made from putting things together, kind of like a mosaic, and those thick black lines are sealant, and so it's the glue that sticks them together. But the effect that it has is really cool. It has no gaps in between the shapes here. Yours will have no gaps in between triangles because those are the only shapes that you are making. And you notice that each of these shapes, even in this type of mosaic that are not made of all perfect triangles, they share a side with an already existing shape that's there. So for yours, each of your triangles must share a side with another triangle. You will, after you're done coloring, might want to create thicker lines first so that you do less coloring, up to you. You're going to have thicker lines to imitate the sealant that I was talking about that is used in true stained glass art. Now, of course, for the all-important math elements to include, your project must have at least 4 of each type of triangle, so 4 equilateral, 4 isosceles, and 4 scalene. Remember, you have to fill up the space, so unless you're making bigger triangles, you'll probably have more than 4 of each. But you must have at least 4 of each, so don't try to get by with just 3 and be like, I'm done. And you're like, no. And then I'm like, do it again. Add more. So 4 of each. Then you're going to assign a color to each type of triangle when we get to the art part. And create a legend so that we know what triangle is represented by which color. Okay? All right, the video after this is going to show you how to actually create your draft. All right, now that you've had a chance to review the 3 different types of triangles based on their side lengths, we're going to go ahead and start to work on our draft for our triangle stained glass project. In the video that you watched before this about the different art elements of a stained glass actual art piece, you know that we're trying to fill up a space with color. The space that you're going to create right now, that I've already created for you before I started the video, is 5 inches, a 5-inch sided square. Okay, so this is 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches. And inside of this is where you're going to start to do your triangle work. So in the rubric also that you saw before this, we're expecting you to have 4 of each different type of triangle, which means 4 equilateral, 4 isosceles, and 4 scalene. So you have to try and get creative with how you're going to do this, because again, you are proving your work by using a ruler. So let's say that I start off here and my cat is making a lot of noise because she wants to go in the garden, but I cannot take her. I'm gonna do a 4 centimeter here. My goal right now is to try to create an equilateral triangle of 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. And so this is where it's gonna get a little bit tricky. So I would start with dots first to make sure that you're hitting that 4. So you see how I'm a little bit shy of 4 there with this dot. Oh, my cat. I'm sorry, kitty. Okay, I know. Sorry, I talk to my cat like I have a child. Okay, so this is 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters, which I just created my first equilateral triangle. Now, in order for you to keep track, because you will have to create a legend later, I want you to go ahead and remember you're using pencil because this is a draft. Label your sides with their measurements. And since it's equilateral, go ahead and put an E there, okay? Because you will be coloring them by type. So also on the rubric that I showed you before this, each of these triangles need to share sides. So let this 4 centimeters already help you to think of what other type of triangle can I draw next to it that's gonna fit either scalene, isosceles, or equilateral. So I already have an equilateral here. I'm going to go ahead and do another 4 centimeters because I'm gonna try to make this one isosceles. So let's get 4 going here. So I'm gonna move this so that we get to 4 right on the edge. Okay, so I know that's 4, so good. I have 2 sides the same. So this is going to be 4 centimeters. I know that this is 4 centimeters because it's sharing that side. And this is going to be 7 centimeters. So now I have an isosceles triangle. Okay. I'm going to continue to let my sides help me. And the next thing I want to do is make a scalene triangle. So I'll keep this at 4. But now, let's see, I'm gonna make this a 5, so I'm gonna put a little dot there. So 5 centimeters on this side. So I already know I have 2 sides different. I just have to make sure that my third side is different because for a scalene, all sides are different. And is this different? Why, yes, sirree, it is. It is 2.5 or 2.5 centimeters. So I'm going to label this just like Mrs. Leahy said to herself. It's 5 centimeters, and then this edge or this side is 2.5 centimeters. Okay, this is now a scalene. So you have to have a minimum of 4 of each type of triangle. Right now I already have 1 of each. That's great. So I just have to have 3 more. However, you do have to fill up the space. So use your space wisely. If you have more than 4 of each, I wouldn't be surprised, and that's okay. Because the next part of this is going to be actually doing the art piece of coloring, creating a legend, and darkening lines so that it looks like an actual stained glass project. And I will not see ya. You will hear me and see my hands tomorrow. I think a tally thing on the side so I can keep track of how many different types of triangles I have. So equilateral, right now I have just 1. I have 1 of each, so isosceles I have 1. And then scalene I have 1. Okay, let me go ahead and fast forward this video while you watch me complete it. Remember, please don't follow my example. I just want to go ahead and show you how this all comes about because it could get a little confusing if you're not careful. Be careful to always label your sides. If you're sharing a side, you don't have to label it twice like here because you labeled it once. And be as creative as you want. I don't want to see copycats of my project, okay, because it's my art. It's originally Mrs. Leahy's art, not yours. All right, so I guess here I go, and I will fast forward it for you so you don't have to sit here for 15 minutes of your lives. Okay, so this is my completed draft. I went ahead and I circled the different types of triangles so that I could see it a little bit easier, made sure I had 4 of each, at least 4 of each, and I also tallied on the side. So equilaterals, I have 4 of them, isosceles, I have 5 of them, and scalene, I have 10 of them. And so within this stained glass frame, I have all the different types of triangles, which is awesome because that's the objective of the lesson, is to be able to identify and use all those triangles within a stained glass project. So now we're going to get into the art elements of stained glass. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and darken the line so that it imitates what that black sealant looks like, what I was talking about, how stained glass are different things put together, or glass pieces put together, and that sealant that they use is black. So we're going to create darker black lines first. I will go ahead and do that and then come back and show you what it looks like after. Oh, pro tip, make sure you don't cover these up because you need to know what triangle is which. Okay, and here is where I went ahead and used a thick black marker to create that sealant of the glass pieces. And I apologize, I think I misspoke on the first video of talking about how stained glass were different objects put together and you use sealant. That's a mosaic. Stained glass are pieces of glass put together, which makes sense, duh, colored or stained and then put together with the sealant, or put the sealant first and then put the glasses together. Anyway, it's glass, okay? So this is after you go ahead and trace your lines with the black marker or black crayon or whatever it is that you want to make your line stick with. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and create a legend. Now, this is still a draft, so if you notice, I created a legend, and it's not my best handwriting, but afterwards what we're going to do with this is go ahead and cut this out. We're going to paste it on something else. It's up to you, however you want to do it. If you want to put it on a colored piece of paper, or if you want to put it on something else, but you are going to cut it out, and then you're going to have a space for your legend there on your publish. So neatest handwriting later, this is just for draft purposes, okay? So for my equilateral triangles, I'm going to use shades of purple. You don't have to use shades of, I just like to use, I have this really cool set of like 48 different color pencils, and I want to use shades of purple. If you want to just make all your equilaterals one color and not shades of that color, that's fine with me. Scaling, I'm going to use shades of blue, and then isosceles, I'm going to go ahead and use shades of red. So this is just coloring within the lines, just like you learn in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade. And then I will come back to you when I have all my coloring done. Okay, so that's what it looks like after all the coloring. Using your legend, and the last part that we have to do to publish is we're going to go ahead and cut out your stained glass project. Well, that is the project anyway. Cut this out, cut out your square, paste it on something nice and neat, make a neater legend. You can go ahead and get creative with how you want to cut and paste your legend and how you want to write it. Just make sure it's neat, make sure that your project has a title, and then that will be your final project to take a picture of, or a video of you talking about it if you'd like, and submit it to Google Classroom. So I'll come back to you as soon as I finish my publish so that you get an idea of what it's going to look like. All right, so here's my published piece. I went ahead and cut out the stained glass, and I just used some fancy writing, and you're like, if you want, I really wish I could write like that, look up fake calligraphy on Google. Totally tells you how to do it, okay? And then I have my legend down here. So your final project should look like this. Make sure you create it so that it's something that you're proud of. Just using things at home. Why? Because it's COVID time. And yeah, so I hope you like this project. Please keep it, because it could possibly be the start of another project next week, okay? So make sure you keep it safe. All right.